Well, hello and welcome. My name is Sheila Wilson. I'm a registered nurse, and I have a nonprofit called Stop Healthcare Violence. I also have a website and a Facebook page called Stop Healthcare Violence, and inside Stop Healthcare Violence, we have Heal the Healer. I am also a host on Passionate World Talk Radio, where Lillian Caldwell is the CEO, and the station manager is Jeannie White. Today, I have a repeat guest who I absolutely think is fantastic. Her name is Holly Brown, and her mission is to provide comfort and relief to those with cancer through integrative therapies, alleviating side effects and improving quality of life. Hello, Holly. How are you?
Hi, Sheila. How are you? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for coming on. I can't tell you how much I respect you and your whole team about giving how you alleviate the side effects and improve the quality of life for these folks. But the first thing I'd like to ask you, and if you would tell the audience, you were just nominated for what you do. Can you tell the listeners what you were nominated for and who you were nominated by?
Sure. So Honeydew Donuts had a contest called to nominate anybody who's a do-gooder who was doing good in their community, and my husband happened to see the sign, so he submitted a nomination for the work that I do. And so, he pointed out as well that I myself suffer from multiple sclerosis, and, that even though I have challenges every day, that I still do my best to help people and run the nonprofit. So he submitted my story, and then they decided on 5 finalists, and we made that. And then they posted the 5 finalist stories on, they picked 10 finalists and posted them on the computer, and then people could vote, and they picked the first 5 that had the most votes. And with that, we won $2,500 for the nonprofit and $2,500 for myself. So it was a great prize and a great contest, and I'm happy to say that I was chosen as a do-gooder.
Well, you certainly are a do-gooder. Can you briefly say what you do? That you're such a good do-gooder? That's kind of a hard thing to say.
Yeah. So I am a licensed esthetician, and I'm also what's called Oncology trained. So we are specially trained to treat the different side effects from cancer treatment that affect the skin. So the skin is the largest organ of the body. Most people don't put emphasis on it as we do our other organs, but it's very vital to our overall health and well-being. And so there are a lot of skin reactions with cancer treatment, which a lot of people don't understand unless they've gone through it or they know somebody who's gone through it. Even the doctors don't talk about the skin reactions that are going to happen. So we see a lot of rashes and hives with chemotherapy, obviously radiation burns, and then, targeted and immunotherapies have a whole host of skin issues that go along with it. And, we do a lot of work with scars and skin grafts, and as well as some people have necrosis, which is when they have surgery and the skin dies. And so we see a lot of that as well. So we're specifically trained to treat and combat those side effects so that people can improve their quality of life. I mean, nobody wants to have a cancer diagnosis, obviously, and with the way the world is today, that extra stress is enough. But then, you're faced with these unforeseen skin reactions that nobody's mentioned or told you about, and and now you are here with rash, and it's sore and painful and peeling, and you don't know what to do with it. And So that's where we come in.
I can't even imagine if I was handed a diagnosis of cancer, and once you deal with that, I mean, that's just not a 5-minute deal like you go into the grocery store. You try to talk to people about it, but I don't think everybody understands when, all they're saying is, oh, thank God it wasn't me. And now you got this diagnosis, and you go and you do what the doctor tells you. You get your chemotherapy or whatever treatment that they have in store for you, and then you develop a rash or hives or anything else. And
right.
who tells them about your nonprofit? Who tells them about how they can get treatment?
Yep. So we work with a lot of the local hospitals that, talk about our program. Our services are offered to the client at no cost. So that is a big factor as well, where, cancer can be very draining to the pocketbook and, very expensive, medical treatments and whatnot. And so we offer our services at no cost to the cancer client, and we basically educate them as well. So when somebody is given treatment for cancer, it's meant to kill off the cancer cells. However, it can't decipher between the cancer cells and the healthy cells, so it kills off all cells. And that's why, since your hair, skin, and nails is fast over-changing cells, that's where we see the first reaction. So people losing their hair with cancer treatment is a very well-known side effect. Why nobody talks about the skin, I have no idea, but we're hopefully working to change that it is something that is addressed and that they know that there's help out there. Just as a side note, I myself have multiple sclerosis, as I had mentioned before, and I have sarcoidosis. And so because of the two diseases, my doctors felt the best form of treatment was chemotherapy. So I take an infusion every 6 months of chemotherapy, and it's worked wonders. I've had MS for 23 years. You would never know anything was wrong with me, but I got this rash on my back, and I had just become an esthetician. And when I went to my doctor and asked him about it, he kind of looked around quizzically and then looked back at me and said, "Oh, you're an esthetician, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Great, you should know what to do." And I thought, you got to be kidding me. I mean, it was like painful and sore and bright red and oozing, and it was like, to be perfectly honest, to describe it, it was disgusting, and it was painful, and it itched and it hurt. And for him to say that to me, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm sure that I don't have it half as bad as some people who get treatment every 2 weeks. Like, you're crazy. There's nothing you can tell me. And the more that I researched it, the more I found there was nothing. And so it really fueled my passion to start the charity.
I can't even imagine finding something like that, and then trying to find something, and your doctor telling you that, well, you must know, you're an esthetician. That just doesn't even make sense.
Right,
is it because
right.
they're so involved in their own work? I mean, I'm not kind of hitting on the doctors saying that they should know more, but maybe they should know more. Do you leave your cards with the doctors?
Yep, we do. And like with the Green Cancer Center in Brockton, we have a program with them where they give their cancer patients a certificate that entitles them to come and see us. And then we've done presentations at Boston Medical Center. We work with a social worker out of Dana-Farber, and we actually just started working with Winchester Hospital. We have done presentations at St. Anne's and many other hospitals. So if there are listeners that do work in medical facilities and work around oncology, we're happy to come and talk about the services that we offer. And we have 5 different locations across Massachusetts where we see patients, and so we'd be happy to educate the medical staff on what we do and how we can help. And, we use specific products that are clean so that, the craziest thing to me is to say to a cancer patient, here's a product to use. Yeah, it has cancer-causing ingredients in it, but it will be okay. Like, that's just absurd to me. So we really pride ourselves on scrutinizing ingredients, and we only work with certain product companies that support our mission. And, we've scrutinized the ingredients. We've all tried them, and they're very committed to the charity. So if anybody, and all that is complimentary and at no cost, I'm happy to come and talk about, the skin, and we've done hospice, and we've done elder services. So, like I said, we do that complimentary to educate medical staff as well as support groups, and we do the Live Strong program. And so there's all different types of venues that we can do, and we're happy to provide that knowledge.
That is fantastic. So a patient can call you on the telephone, or do they have to go through one of the programs that you just mentioned to get in touch with you, or?
Nope. So they can either email me. Our website is www.lookfeelfab.org, or they can email me at holly@lookfeelfab.org, or they can call me on my telephone number. It is 339-216-7059, and I'm available for text calls and also emails. And I tell people that my worst pet peeve is when people don't get back to you, and so I will get back to you. It might take me a day or two, but I will return your call or your email.
Now, how many people do you have on your staff? I've met several of them.
Yeah, so we have, I think, 6 practitioners. 2 of the practitioners are dual licensed, so they're massage therapists as well as estheticians, and they're oncology trained in both. We just started a brand new yoga program where we have a oncology trained yoga instructor that actually will go to people's houses to help them modify different positions and to build up in any areas where they may lack in motion or in strength. And so that's our newest program that we started, and those visits are all at no cost as well to the client. So
that is amazing. Now I'm going to ask you a question, which I know that you would know the answer, but it's just something that just came into my head. Now, I do Stop Healthcare Violence, and I do that because of all the violence with the nurses and the healthcare workers and the physicians. Do you think a facial, like not so much the products that you use, but not just because you don't have cancer, and the other girls, what they do, would that be helpful for them?
Of course, yes.
And how would that be helpful?
Yeah, so any hour of relaxation for anybody in this day and age is huge. And so, you go in for a facial and they play the music and, the lights are dim. You get in that nice comfy bed that oftentimes has like a bed warmer on it. They use hot towels and great products and just a human touch. Like, we don't consciously think of it, but we all crave human touch. And so it's such it has such a significant impact on us. Again, like I said, we don't consciously think about it, but it's definitely, as humans, it's something that we all crave. And so, it just relaxes us and comforts us. And, and people don't have to have cancer to have compromised skin. I mean, the nurses wearing the masks, I'm sure, affects their skin, as well as the stress and just, being around other people that, nurses have emotions, and other people that they may be treating are declining or whatnot. And so that plays a factor into it as well. And so any type of wellness service that a nurse can engage in obviously is so beneficial.
The same as a massage?
Yes, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. They an interesting study that was done was they took 380 cancer patients at the end of their life, and they divided them into two groups. And one group they gave daily massages to, and the other group they did just simple touch by just somebody laying their hands on them. And the amazing thing was they found out that both groups equally benefited from the service. And so whether it was just touch, somebody laying their hands on you, or massage, that they had better outlooks. They were able to deal with their pain better, and they had less emotional issues as well as less stress.
Good. As I said in the beginning, you're a repeat guest here, but I also know you, and I know some of the people that your team is, and we did work together one time at the Whitman Wellness Center, and we did one thing that we won't do again, and that's we forgot to take the picture of the person coming in to have a facial or a massage, and then the person leaving. And if we showed those pictures, that would have been they all looked, some were clapping their heels walking out. And it's absolutely amazing. But before we
the other thing that we try to do is, we encourage people that it's a safe space where they can, talk with us, and that they're free to vent or talk about whatever they want. And I have had people call me, clients or patients call me and tell me that they were contemplating suicide, and if it wasn't for the practitioner that that really helped them, that they were contemplating doing that. And so that in itself is powerful to hear that one of the practitioners working with me was able to, offer such services to this person beyond, the skincare treatments and whatnot, and actually help this person to deal with things. And that is just like, how could you ever expect more than that,
That is, as I said earlier, Holly, that you're working with a population that how can we possibly know what's going on in their head?
Right.
And to actually treat it and to know what to do with them, and how to help them. You're in quite a place. And I have so much respect for you and your organization that it's just amazing.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's really important. Well, there's another thing I'd like you to talk about. Right before we were doing the interview, you mentioned something that's going on. Would you like to talk about that?
Yeah, sure. So every year I participate in a international competition called the Skin Games. And what that is it's where estheticians from all over, people who do makeup and people who do waxing, come and to what's called the Skin Games. It's usually 3 or 4 days, and they have to submit case studies prior to the event, and they're judged, and we pick finalists. And so if somebody is proficient in, say, treating acne, then they would enter a case study where they would show pictures and how significant the changes were over 8 weeks. And then they would, if they became a finalist, they would come to the live show. And if they were chosen as a winner, they could tout themselves as like one of the best acne specialists or whatnot. And so about 6 years ago, one of the girls who was involved with the Skin Games approached me, knowing that work that I had done, and asked me if I would help her to write a compassionate category where we honor estheticians that give back to their community. We've had all sorts of things from treating cancer patients to treating people who are displaced because of fires or homeless or feeding the hungry, or, there's a number of different things that estheticians get involved with, organizations where they give back, whether they're doing skincare services or just donating their time. And so we comprise the category, and we have live interviews every year, which is so difficult. And how can anybody not be congratulated for giving back? And we respect each and every one of them and everything they're doing. But the ones that do win do get a monetary prize that they can donate to their nonprofit, or if people are doing it on their own, that's a separate subcategory that we have that they can enter and get money to put towards the efforts that they're doing within the community. So it's a great, it's one thing that I do for myself, I say, because I enjoy it so much. And after this year, I'm going to actually be taking over the category, so I'll be the lead judge. And so we're looking forward to doing a lot more stuff and maybe making it into a nonprofit. And if anybody's interested in that, they can go to the Skin Games website, which is just theskingames.com, and read all about the different competitions and whatnot. So I'll be heading down. It's next weekend, and I'll be participating in that, and that's something that I love to do.
And where is that going to be?
It's going to be in Georgia this year. So last year it was in Florida, and a couple of years it was in California, but this year it's going to be in Georgia.
How interesting that will be. And
yeah, I love it.
Tell me again, what is your job going to be down there?
Yep, so I'm a judge in the compassionate category. So we have 9 contestants that have entered, and so our job will be to conduct the live interviews and then pick a winner. And then they have a live show on Saturday, and we'll announce the winners that we pick. And they all will get monetary prizes to go towards their nonprofit or to go towards their efforts that they're doing to give back to the community.
That's amazing. Now, Can you tell us, you talk about your products, and can you tell us what products you use, or is this something that you don't mention, or you say
no.
They don't have any?
Yeah,
okay.
No, we can definitely mention that. So we use actually 3 different companies. We use a company called Hail and Hush, which is based out of Arizona, and they were actually originally formulated for people who are in active treatment. So they were under a different name, and one of the ladies took over the company and rebranded and renamed it Hail and Hush. But they are, so to speak, the experts in sensitive skin, and so they've been developing safe products for a long time. So we work with them. We also work with a company called Anna Latan, and they're originally based out of Israel. And so I am fortunate to know the U.S. distributor is located in Woburn, and we've actually gotten to speak with the formulator of that brand, Anna Latan's daughter, and we've worked with her to make ingredient lists of things we want in a product and things we don't want in a product. to treat different issues with somebody going through cancer treatment, and she actually formulated a line called the Rosie's line that we're contributed to helping with the ingredients and whatnot. And so we're very proud of that accomplishment. We also work with a company called Neogenesis, and Neogenesis is located in California, and they use products using molecules from donated stem cells. And so the owners are a gentleman by the name of Steve McGee and a gentleman by the name of Dr. Greg McGuire. And Dr. McGuire has been a research scientist for many years. And so we approached him with the idea of pre-treating people prior to them going through radiation. And he actually used our case studies and wrote us up into a peer-reviewed scientific study that's published in the Dermatological Journal. So very fortunate for being recognized for that as well. And so we do, with Neogenesis, they donate all the products, and we treat people starting radiation and follow them through the whole radiation process. And we treat people from all over the country. That's all done virtually, and the products are sent to them. So they don't have to be in our area. We treat anybody across the country.
Wow. Now, back up a little bit. What were you noted for? That was written in the journal?
Yep. So we were fortunate that we really liked the Neogenesis products, and they saw how effective they were. So we approached the research doctor, Dr. Greg McGuire, who has done research for many years, and said to him, what if we pre-treated people prior to them undergoing radiation? So I kind of came up with the analogy that if you have a plant and you water it and you bend the leaves, they spring back. But if you don't water it and you bend the leaves break. So you can kind of put that analogy to skin as it's going through a radiation treatment. And so I said, what if we just drove hydration into the skin, just kept it overly hydrated, and prepared it for when it underwent radiation? And the research doctor did research to find out if it would affect the radiation or if it had any, would cause any type of changes to the treatment when it was administered. And he found that nothing was significant to affect the radiation, but it upheld the skin. And so we've done probably about 35 different case studies where we've seen people through 30 plus radiation and had very minor to no irritation. So there was a study done that says 85% of people who undergo radiation end up with a moderate to severe burn. So we are like blowing those statistics out of the water, and he actually wrote us up using some of our case studies and made us co-author on the scientific study, and it's actually peer-reviewed and published in the dermatological journals.
I can't even imagine. That is awesome. Congratulations. I've thought about that myself, but I'd be afraid to put something on my face that might not get the radiation where it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah.
You had the courage to come up with all this, and you actually had more courage to get in touch with the person that was going to do something about it, and look at where it's got you.
Right. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Sometimes I go, am I really talking about stuff that I did or stuff that somebody else did? Sometimes it's like a little surreal for me because it is such, a great, we've made a lot of progress, and we're the first nonprofit of its kind in the country. So we're actually paving the way of the road that nobody's gone down. And so we have one charity that is formed after us that I mentored, and that's in Georgia. And so they're helping us to kind of get the word out there and educate people. And we hope that 100 more charities like us pop up across the country and across the world, and that we hope that we can be a good setting example for what can be done to help people.
That's awesome. Now we're going to run out of time in a minute, but can you give the audience your website again and your phone number?
Sure. So the website is www.lookfeelfab.org, and my email is holly@lookfeelfab.com. So that's HOLLY @lookfeelfab.org. And my telephone number is 339-216-7059.
That's fantastic, Holly. Thank you so much for being on the show. And as much as I know about you, I didn't know about you. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of new and exciting. And so I have to say good night right now, and maybe you'll be on the show again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Okay. Now I'll say good night, and I'll be looking forward to seeing you again.
Okay. Thank you.